Missing lamps in my crib, providing light for my seeds.
Is it reveal the force of the current move. And we'll look at an example of that in a minute. So let me go over the anatomy of the candlestick line. Okay, the candlestick line is made of a couple of components. There's a rectangular portion called the real body. And that is simply the relationship between the open and close. So if we have a white or empty real body, the close is higher than the open. And if we have a black real body, that means the close is under the open. And this could be in any time frame in any market. And depending on your charting package, okay, instead of a white real body, it could be a green. You know, depends what you have your candles set on in eSignal. It could be green, and instead of black, it could be red, but the same concept. And the high is called the top of the upper shadow. It's the high of the session. And the low of the session is the bottom of the lower shadow. So essentially, you have open, high, low, and close, which is exactly what you have on a bar chart. And that's one of the aspects about candlesticks. Whatever you do with a bar chart, whatever Western technical indicator you used with a bar chart, moving averages, trend lines, oscillators, you name it, Fibonacci retracement, you could use with a candlestick chart. But as I showed in the prior slide, candlesticks not only show the price, but they show the force of the move. And let me show you how easy it is to understand that. So who's in control on this session here? Remember, for those who are new to candles, this is the opening and that's the closing because it's a white real body. Right, the bulls. The market opened at the bottom of the white candle and closed at the, I'll just get my little pointer here, and closed over here. And who's in control in the black real body? Market opened here and closed here. Right, the bears. Now, what if we get something like this, which is called the doji, where the opening and closing are the same? There's no rectangular portion. Who's in control? Is it the bulls or the bears? Right, neither. There's a balance of forces between the bulls and the bears. And why is something like this valuable? Well, let's look at this. Okay, here we have a tall green candle. The bulls are in charge. Now, notice something interesting. On the next session, aren't the closes the same, right? The close, get the arrow over here again. The close over here is the same as the close over here, but on this red arrow session, that doji session, there's an equilibrium of forces between the bulls and the bears. The Japanese would say the market is tired. And what does that mean? That means the odds of a turn are greater than they would be on that tall green candle. So in one candlestick line, we get a sense that the force of the market, in this case the bullish force, is losing momentum. So for example, the high is here in Google a couple of months ago, a doji. And a lot of things you could do with doji. Obviously, this is not a course in candlesticks. You could set up the doji as a potential resistance area, and if the market closes above it, it's actually a bullish breakout. But a very basic thing you could do with doji is use it as resistance. And obviously, not after every doji, the market's going to sell off. But you could see that with the doji and the market kind of topping out right around the same area, it increases the likelihood of the market reversing. So candles, as shown in the title here, reveal the force of the move. And as I mentioned when we described the construction of the candlestick line, you could use all your favorite Western indicators with candlesticks. And by the way, I call these Nison Candlesticks because you know you're getting the right candlestick information. There's a lot of really bad and dangerous candlestick information out there. There are other educators out there that are, I don't know where they get their knowledge from, but I had dozens of books translated from Japanese to English. I spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars and 30 years, since mid-1980s, 30 years real-world experience using candles. So that's why we call them Nison Candlesticks. Candlestick education, candlestick indicators the correct way. So you could easily add your favorite Western indicators. For example, here, this was back at the highs of Apple a while ago. We had a series of small real bodies in the circled area, these doji, and by the way, the plural of doji or doji, and was at the top of a Bollinger Band. And I like using Bollinger Bands to gauge overbought, oversold. So this is what we mean by the multiplier, what I call the multiplier effect. If you get a candlestick signal confirming one of your favorite Western indicators, I'd be more aggressive on a trade, or in this case, if I was long, I certainly would consider taking profits. But as valuable as candlesticks are in confirming Western indicators, one of the great benefits you're going to find within Nison Candle Highlighter that's going to highlight my favorite candlestick signals, and I'll describe NCH in a couple of minutes, is the candles allow you to get reversal signals before traditional Western indicators. Let me show you a case here. So over here, okay, scenario one, you buy at the candlestick signal. This is a bullish candlestick signal called a hammer, and it's a nice signal because it's confirming a support area. So let's say you buy there with the market at 395, and you could exit. There's a doji over here. Doji are great for taking potential profits. So you could exit the doji at 447. So this gives you a potential profit of $52 a share. Now let's say you use the MACD, which is this. It's a popular Western indicator. And I'm not going to go through exactly what the MACD is. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. But essentially, it tells you when the trend is changing. And for the MACD trend to go from down to up, you know you have to have the blue line crossing above this yellow line here. You have the crossover. So you would have gotten the buy signal with the MACD over here. You know, still a nice trade. You buy in the MACD at 418. You could still use the doji to exit at 447. A nice profit, $29 a share. But this is what the candlesticks are all about. Thanks to the candles, you generated an extra potential $23 a share. So if you purchased 100 shares, you're looking at an extra $2,300. And this is perfectly, you can use candles, it's perfectly applicable. Not many of us trade Google or Apple outright. We'll use options. So candles are great for options also. So let's now look that we've done a very brief overview of how to use candlesticks. As Ben mentioned, I'll tell you how you can get a free resource, a streaming video that gives you more details about the essentials of candles. But what I want to do now is start to give you the basics of our Nison Candle Highlighter. It's a brand new app we designed for the eSignal platform. And the most valuable aspect about it is that you know when you have a candlestick signal highlighted with NCH, Nison Candle Highlighter, it's going to be a valid candlestick signal. And as Scott mentioned, everyone that teaches candles quotes the master. Why not go to the master? And many of us have this problem. And I'm going to show you how NCH helps you overcome these issues. How many of us have made a trade or investment we wish we didn't make? Well, NCS is going to help you avoid this by avoiding placing wrong trades on the candlestick signals, on wrong candlestick signals. Because at the end of the day, it's not only how much money you made, but how much you made plus how much you didn't lose. And another issue that NCS will help you overcome is it lets you jump on golden trading opportunities. We've all felt like this before, right? And so let's look at how this works. So we're going to now look at one of the basic patterns very briefly. We'll look at a bullish engulfing pattern. That's when a white real body wraps around a black real body. Again, I could spend a good half an hour on engulfing patterns, but I just want to give you the basic definition. We can see the bulls are taking over from the bears. A bearish engulfing pattern is when a black, or it could be a red real body wraps around a green, a white or a green real body, depending on how you have your candlestick signals, your bull and bear signals set in the up and down days with the candles set in eSignal. So let's look at this. So here you can see we have a little plus E. This is, you could pull up, the way NCH works is you could pull up any chart in any time frame, and you could have any and all of my favorite candlestick signals. So here we have the bullish engulfing pattern highlighted. So all bullish engulfing patterns are going to show up within the NCH, within the Nison candle highlighter. So here we have a bullish engulfing pattern, potential bottom reversal signal. And normally, most of these candlestick signals you could use to set protective stops. So normally I'd have, do my arrow here, normally I'd have a stop. There we go. Normally I have a stop under the low of the bullish engulfing pattern. But since the low here, this happens to be a hammer, but I didn't have a hammer highlighted on NCH. Since the low here is so close to the low here, here's where I'd have my protective stop. So it's a bullish engulfing pattern. Here's a couple of bearish engulfing patterns, confirming a resistance area. Great time to take profits. Now let me show you what NCH can mean to your portfolio. Now notice over here, well, let me go back here. You notice over here we have a bullish engulfing pattern. Let me show you something interesting. Notice how, and I'll put a little box here, there's a green candle wrapping around a black real body. Now, why did that not show up as a bullish engulfing pattern in NCH? Because it really was not a bullish engulfing pattern. A bullish engulfing pattern has to come after essentially a downtrend. And we have proprietary indicators on how we define trend. So notice that that was not a bullish engulfing pattern. While at the green, at the blue arrow that just emerged, it is a bullish engulfing pattern. So what that means is you would have avoided buying on this, what some may have viewed as a bullish engulfing pattern, and you could have bought on the true bullish engulfing pattern as signaled by NCH. So in other words, you potentially buy money not lost. And once again, as I mentioned, here happened.
You got Wi-Fi? You got Wi-Fi?
I haven't taken off yet, babe.
Yeah, I know that, but did you get the Wi-Fi?
I'll get Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
No, I will get Wi-Fi when I get in the sky.